Hello Taurus, this is Victoria and I'm here with your January tarot forecast. As always, we'll be looking at your personal life, your professional space, and we'll get you clarity on how to best utilize the energy of the months of January. At the end, I'll post some messages from your person of interest to yourself. And we will begin with a quick oracle message. Today it's the Sacred Traveler deck. And without further ado, let's get started. If you're new, welcome. There's a lot of information in the description box for how you can receive my services, get more content from me. Of course, you can support the channel with donations. That is always highly appreciated, especially now. Also, I'm releasing a series of videos on mental health best practices, tips and tricks that I've learned, my biggest insights from this year. Those are gonna be, well, I've already started posting them. They are on my other channel, Mindful Bamboo. There's a handle in the description box. Or if you're following me on Instagram, even better, because it's gonna be on that channel for sure. On that channel. It's gonna be on Instagram for sure. This reading is for Sun, Moon, and Rising Taurus. So if you're checking this for your sun sign, please check out videos for other placements as well. And of course, appreciate your likes, shares, and comments. Let me know what you'd like to see more of in 2026 on this channel. Alrighty, so you got grounding. Go deep, explore your roots. It's a little ironic to get this for an earth sign, and Taurus specifically, because Taurus is one of the more grounded signs. I feel like Taurus sometimes can use a little bit of that airy energy to lighten up, you know, from being very much to the ground. But that's what we have. Embrace your own, embrace and you know what you're good at. Go deep, explore your roots. For some of you, it means actually exploring more of your ancestry, where you come from, what are the cultures and traditions, what were the fundamental patterns and stories that people have inherited, especially as a collective trauma. Not especially, but I wanted to say especially if you don't know much of the story of your specific ancestors. I haven't done much work on it this year, but I have been involved in this topic for a while now. Back in the day, I did more research, and I'm one of those people who don't really know their ancestors, don't know their stories. There's nowhere to look for them really. I mean, you can of course request one of those services, but it's not like you can actually talk to people. The names and the culture is still surface level information, but I was able to trace some of the ancestry generations away, at least in terms of countries. And the value of that, sorry, I have a dog here in the background. The value of that is still very big, apart from just knowing, like checking the box, you know, that there is like this blood in me, or you know, now I'm gonna celebrate holidays of this country or culture. It's more about this. If you study the history of that country, and of course the culture as well, the humor, the literature, you know, whatever you can put your hands on, the legacy essentially, right? It builds that collective memory and collective trauma as well. It informs you what was happening, right? Like if there was a war, or you know, there was maybe starvation at some point, or there was cholera outbreak, or you know, something big like that. It left a mark on everyone in that country at that time. Or maybe it was happening in the neighboring country, but it was pretty close and it still impacted them. Maybe your refugees were coming in. Maybe there was an economic crisis because the trade and supply, the supply the supply chains were broken, right? Like you can do a little bit of work and do your research there. These days, you can of course ask AI to help you with that and kind of connect the dots of like what would be the impact of what was happening. But do the work. That's the main point here with it. And yeah, don't be afraid to go deep. And you know what? I went as far as like at least 5 generations before, maybe even 7. And I mean, it gets a little vague between like 5 and 7. But I embraced it. I'm like, yeah, I got my downloads. I have certain proof. It's subtle proof, but I have it from my life. and I'm gonna trust it. There is no like guaranteed proof of that, but I have that knowledge and it's enough for me. All right, with all that said, and also I'm hearing with this grounding card, it's important not to live in some kind of vague promised land, but focus on what's real to you. What kind of reality do you live in, right? Whether it's promised land promised by politicians or even your life partner, or I don't know, anyone else in between, right? Like, oh yes, this and that and the other thing. You're like, well, I have a very different context in my life right now, and that should be more important to you right now. Focusing on that, not on just hypothetical outcomes. If 50 things happen, then you can have that kind of life. And like I said, Taurus is usually very good at that, so I'm sure it's gonna be great. So for personal space, you have the Tower. Wow, we're starting strong. This is Aries energy, by the way. Could be doing the, wow, full. I love this so much. This is Aquarius energy. Whew, Major Arcanas and Page of Wands. Okay, I'll speak more on this when I finish the spread. For your workspace, you have Nine of Cups. You have King of Swords. Could be an air sign. And Four of Pentacles. All right. And then the advice, we have Eight of Pentacles. King of Cups. Could be a water sign. And Queen of Pentacles. Usually that's you, Taurus. But again, many people are involved right now. That's what I'm saying. Maybe people are involved in making decisions around your life, right? Which is also a possibility, right? No man is an island, right? We're surrounded by people, and there's a certain level of hierarchy, authority, or at least situations where we're not the only ones making a decision, and that already counts. Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So we have two kings and two queens, and King of Cups, Queen of Cups is a couple. It could be that you're connecting on that heart space of what you like doing for fun, what brings you sense of purpose, and what really speaks to your empathetic self, that connects you with that person. And it might be a little lovey-dovey, it might be a little kind of like, oh, that's so great, so cute, but who cares? You know, like maybe somebody's saying, but this is not serious, so like that's not the only thing that's important, but that's still pretty important. So it's a good point to have as a foundation, right? Okay, back to all this major arcanas. I mean, this is insane. The Tower, the Fool, the nonchalant Page of Wands, which by the way is another person of the court, you know, in this deck. But so what's important, yes, again, old foundations are falling. It may mean endings of certain relationships, whether it's romantic or friendship or even familial, like parents and children. Or at least a big pause, right? Because it needs to change. It cannot stay as is, right? So it's like a boiling point where at least one of you is like, I can't do this anymore, and like slams the door, walks away, figuratively speaking, hopefully, right? But then there is the Fool here, and especially if you are disconnected from an important relationship in your life, it's very important to have this faith, to have this belief that something better is coming along, that all this is happening for the bigger purpose, for the divine plan. And I know sometimes I sound like a broken record with that topic, but it is very important, no matter what kind of higher power you believe in. But that's the essence of the Fool's journey, which is what tarot is anyway, and specifically Fool card, right? It's like, I only have this back, I'm actually walking off a cliff, but I still believe that the universe has got my back. It's very, very important. And the deeper you can go with that belief, that it's not just on the surface, but there's a lot of anxiety and fear underneath, like that's not gonna count that much. But it's okay, you know, we're all learning. As you can lean more into that faith and feel more safe, and without, you know, knowing, without having multiple contingency plans, like that's not faith, I'm sorry, right? This is like when you don't know what's gonna happen. you don't know for sure how it's gonna work out, whether it's gonna work out the way you want or any other way, right? But you trust that it's gonna be a great outcome. So the deeper you go, and it might take a few cycles, the more powerful the effect is going to be. And with all these big energies, it's important to stay nonchalant and just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. You may be traveling also. Could be to see someone close to you, but could just be there is some travel and it's supposed to engage you into that present moment, right? Especially if you are not, well, actually, when you're driving, you're supposed to be present in the moment as well, but especially if it's something more complex and just couple of hours of road trip, you know, where you need to figure out logistics, you need to show up on time, check in, do this, do that, plan, pack, right? That like keeps you in that present moment. And it's important to stay in whatever is happening during this time without ruminating too much of like what could have been, or why am I in this space, why am I doing this alone now, da 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 da, right? Leave it to the universe to sort out for you. Now for the workspace, this looks actually pretty good. And I'm hearing that it's like, I mean, obviously there's a wish fulfillment here. So it's changing. Your workspace is changing for the better for you, whatever it was, the dream client, the dream job, occupation. You finally stepping into your mission and purpose. Doesn't even have to be a full-time job, by the way, right? But this is the next level. There's somebody here who is making a lot of decisions around you, you know, and it may feel insecure and, you know, you may feel anxious with it, you know, you may wanna don't chip out. That's what I'm hearing here, honestly. Like when you're negotiating salary or other terms of the contract, or you know, specific engagement with a client, don't do it out of fear that the client is gonna walk away or the senior partner is not gonna want to do work with you, right? Do your homework. Be sensible in terms of, you know, what's going on with the market, with the services that you provide, what is a good price, right? So it's not jacked up too much, but also you don't cheap out and you don't sell yourself short, right? Because that's, by the way, is another way to get more negative karma onto yourself. And I don't want to go too deep with that because it can take a while, but in a nutshell, if you are undervaluing yourself, you are creating this balance in the energy. And finances are representing energy, right? Pentacles are resources, right? It's part of the energy exchange. That's a big part of, for example, how we charge people for what we do, right? We give them our energy, they pay us money, which is also energy in return, and there is hopefully an equal balance of that give and take. So when you are undercharging, it creates a disbalance where you're undervaluing yourself. You're essentially doing something negative towards yourself. And that will come back to bite you one way or the other. So at least do your diligence, right? It may not be perfect, but at least you'll have peace of mind that you're asking what you're worth of. And then finally, the advice. 8 of Pentacles, King of Cups, and Queen of Pentacles. Again, people here, you're gonna get busy. You're gonna be working with people. You're gonna be spending a lot of time with different people and learning from them. Maybe it's already been your journey, and they are gonna be very different. They are gonna come from different circles of life, different occupations, but through learning their stories, through understanding their context and background, you're gonna learn very valuable lessons and get that expertise into like what do people really want, you know, how to build products so it caters to more people and you can really build upon it, right? We had this card, 4 of Pentacles, which in this deck, these cards to me are connected. This is 4 and this is 8. This is like halfway through, right? This is the very baseline, and this is like I'm already covering it with the roof, right? And this is something a lot more stable and weatherproof. So you've already built the basics, right? And you can continue building on it with the useful information that you're getting from people that you were spending time with, whether personally or professionally, right? And again, it doesn't have to be a very strict split between the two, right? Maybe you're talking to people over dinner, or meeting new neighbors or something. But you start talking, and suddenly something that has nothing to do with your work, but they give you an idea that you're like, oh, I feel like that's the missing link in our product, you know, or how I've been approaching this at work. Why not? Take notes. That's another message I'm getting for you. Journal. All right, last but not least, message for Taurus from their person of interest. I don't know whether it's because it's a relatively new deck or my dry hands in winter or anything else, but the cards are really jumping out today. Hopefully I haven't lost anything on the couch. Ace of Pentacles, I love it. The huge new beginning, powerful beginning. Wow, Two of Cups, this is jackpot. And Three of Pentacles. First of all, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is 1, 2, 3. And what it says to me is, yes, I mean, 1, 2, 3 is also represented like the players in a situation, in a dynamic, right? So this is you starting something new on your own, and it may feel daunting, it may be disorienting even, especially if you're not used to it, but it's very important that you stand up on your feet, or you start this new project, or you move to this new place, and you are able to set yourself up and get into a, you know, a comfort space in a good way by yourself without other people helping you a lot or paying for something or whatever, you know. Then the soulmate comes in that helps, whether it's romantic or platonic, that really becomes like a partner in crime, right? And if here you may be thinking, why am I doing this alone? Or, you know, I feel lonely having to set this up all by myself. This is like your answer. Hopefully you won't, because that actually speaks needy energy. So please don't stay there too long, you know. The soulmate appears that will help you move forward, will create ideas for leisure, you could be traveling together, you know, etc., etc. The list continues. And then finally we have Three of Pentacles, where you start building momentum with whatever this project is, or a new community maybe if you're moving, and you find your people, you know, whether it's clients or friends or partners, fellow athletes, I don't know, whatever it could be, right? But this is not two people anymore. This is a group of people, it's a team, right? And now you've got this, like, it will happen pretty quickly. What I see here is your person can see how this has been unfolding for you, how this momentum has been building up, and now it's gonna blossom for you, right? So of course, they want to see this as working out with them, but between us, it may or may not happen with this specific person. But the truth is that even if they don't tell you that they're proud of you, that they believe in you, they totally are. And they see you only growing and only expanding with time. For some people, it's gonna create a lot of insecurity, maybe jealousy, a power struggle. Power struggle is like one of the top reasons why people cannot sustain their relationship. And it almost never looks that way on the surface, but it starts looking that way as soon as you dig a little deeper with emotions, with feelings, and, you know, agendas and insecurities. Okay, on this note, I'm gonna leave it here. Hopefully this was useful for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.